up, guys?
Yo, welcome back to the vlogs. We took a break, but we're back because we're dogs.
Because we're dogs.
I tried to do a little rap zone. It's okay. I'm Alex.
I'm Kellz.
And we're here. This is the Oros mystery vlog. We got like one more of these after this. We're really winding it down. That's great. Making room for a new show. But let's jump right in.
Yeah.
Let's jump right into the walkthrough part.
Yeah.
Okay, so the game is over, but there's still many things to do. What's this about a meteor heading toward the planet? Who is Zinnia? Why is she dressed like a team member? Weird stuff going on right at the beginning, a little cutscene. And
this is like the very beginning of the Delta.
Yeah, and she's like, they stopped the primal Pokemon, and that was a bad thing. So the game starts in your house. Your dad gives you the pair of tickets. You go to the, to go to that like weird star show that we talked about last time.
Right.
Shooting star thing. He's like, go take Brendan or May with you. So you go out to do it, and you meet Zinnia. Basically, she doesn't say who she is quite yet. She was disguised as a grunt. She introduces herself. She takes off, and then your rival's like, "Yo, this woman came in and like attacked me and took my keystone and went to Petalburg City." And you're like, "Okay, let's go." So you get to Petalburg, and you'll find the admin for whatever team it is, and they're like on Wally, and he's like, "What?" And they're trying to get his keystone. And then your keystone.
Well, it's like, you may have been able to do that to me before, but I'm strong now.
Yeah. So you fight the admin, you defeat him, and they're like, fine, I'm going to go to Meteor Falls for the leader's keystone.
Yeah. So dumb of them.
Yeah. Very bad. So Wally's like, okay, thanks, but they got my keystone. And you're like, what? And so you get a call on your phone thing, your Pokénav. Steven's like, what's up? You got to come to Rustboro City, Morty. I
was gonna say, are you being Rick?
Dude, Steven Stone is the Rick of
He
Pokemon.
is not at all.
Who is then?
Okay, who's
more like Rick?
Brock.
Brock? Because he's like gross?
He's got spiky hair and he's gross.
All right. You go to Rustboro City.
Steven Stone is not like Rick.
All right. You go to Rustboro City. Steven's there. He's like, what's up, Morty? And he says there's bad news. He's like, 3,000 years ago, there was the war in Kalos, and AZ made the weapon. And Mr. Stone's grandfather followed that story and used the infinity energy, which is basically the same energy the weapon used to power all the Devon technology.
Which is really, really cool that they've got that tie-in there that just is like, oh yeah, this is all.
It's kind of Shade Zone though. It's like a little Shade Zone.
How do you think? How do you figure?
It's like a dangerous weapon that rends open like.
Oh yeah. You mean? I thought you meant that it was like shaky and like the way that they like tie.
No, I'm talking.
Together,
It's shady that like the Devon Corp is messing around with that stuff.
Yeah.
So he says,
energy?
So he says a 6 mile wide asteroid is the same size as the one that killed the dinosaurs. It's about to hit the planet. Devon Corp's at the Smoss Deep Space Center. They're trying to figure it out, but they need a meteorite shard. They're in Granite Cave. Go to Granite Cave. You're like, great, I'm gonna go to Granite Cave.
Right.
Zinnia's in Granite Cave. She's looking at that big cave painting that's there. And she's talking about how ancestors from her people passed down knowledge to her on how to protect the world. She's like, what are you doing here? She battles you. You beat her. She's like, fine, here you go, meteorite shard. And then the other meteorite that you got from Mount Chimney starts glowing, and she's like, why don't you keep this? And you're like, okay. And the meteorite's image actually changes in the bag too, which is cool. And then Steven calls and he's like, you gotta go back to Moss Deep because now this science business is getting real. This asteroid is a real deal. So you get there, you give the meteorite shard to Professor Cosmo, who's there, and he's like, all right, here's the plan. We're gonna use that infinity energy. We're gonna also use energy from humans in the keystones, like the bond between people and Pokemon. We're gonna power a rocket. It replicates the energy from Mega Evolution. It's gonna fire the energy to create a warp hole in space, and the meteor is gonna go right through the warp hole. And it's similar to the teleportation portals.
Hold the phone. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's a crazy plan.
It was a pretty crazy thing to drop on you, oh yeah, all of your suspicions about the multiple universes craziness that is going on, it's just all true.
Well, no, not yet. So we don't spoil the mystery. So okay, so he's it's similar to the teleportation portals that are in all the bases, and the device that links the warp holes, it's called a link cable.
Yeah.
So think about that, link cable.
That's a thing.
If you're an old Pokemon player, that's a thing that connected Game Boys together.
Yeah.
They need one more meteorite shard, and they ask for it, and Zinnia's like, hold the phone. She's like, you know what? This is going to cause history to repeat itself. You got to have a better idea than this. I have one. I'm Zinnia. I'm the best. She leaves, and Cosmo's like, you got to go get like another meteor shard from Meteor Falls. Steven's gonna go away, and then you're gonna go to Meteor Falls. Steven's gonna be there, and there's like this old like lady there. She's like kind of like a priest-looking lady, and she says she's part of the Draconids, which is an ancient people who pass down knowledge of the Mega Evolution. I believe that's who Zinnia is from. The lore of Lord Rayquaza is like a big part of their religion, and she explains that Hoenn is like always suffering disasters, and the meteoroid is one of these disasters, and it's happened a lot of times, and the primal reversions and Rayquaza appearing are the things that are supposed to stop these things from happening. That's why they control the weather, is because they're trying to stop natural disasters. The leader of the Draconids went before a Rainbow Stone and made a wish that caused Rayquaza to change his body, which basically is the same thing as Mega Evolution.
Right.
And Mega Evolution was first discovered by the meeting between humanity and Rayquaza in this world.
Interesting.
She explains Zinnia is like the lore keeper of the current generation. She explains Zinnia tried to summon Rayquaza by infiltrating the team and teaching them secrets to awaken the primal reversion. So it's like her fault that they like started that, and like you kind of like messed up the world saving plan by like saving the world, if that makes sense. So now she's looking for the Keystone.
Which is kind of a cool like plot point.
Yeah, it's cool. Steven leaves. You go to Rustboro City again. You go to Rustboro City, you go to Devoncorp, you encounter the scientist who gets attacked by the team. You defeat the Grunt, another one will show up, and another one, you fight him. And then he's like, God damn it, the team stole the link cable. And they're going to go to Moss Deep again. So that's kind of like a theme of this, is just like go to a bunch of cities.
Hopping around.
So you go to the Moss Deep Center, they're there, you're going to bump into Courtney, Matt again. They're going to have some grunts. You go in the Space Center, there's like a horde battle with grunts. It's really annoying. 5 Mightyena with Intimidate and Snarl. It's very, very dumb.
That is pretty dumb.
It's really annoying, but by this time you're going to be so high level. So you go upstairs, you face Courtney and Matt. They want to bring an end to the world. You battle Courtney and a grunt at the same time. They have a Mega Evolution. That's cool. I believe it's like whatever
Camerupt? Sharpedo?
Maybe. I can't remember.
Maybe not.
It was like
Maybe
a year
else.
ago that I did this. You defeat him. Zinnia appears. She's like, ha, got the link cable. She's like, guess what? There's a world. She's like, you thought this was a good idea? Through the portal, there's a world that's similar to this one, but they don't have Mega Evolution, that you're going to just throw this comet, this meteor at, and that's not the biz.
She's like, you can't just save your world and sacrifice a totally other world.
The war never happened.
Like,
the war in
so
Kalos never happened. So that's the thing that created this other universe that you're in now, that AZ like did all this business in.
Right.
And she's like, what if like a meteoroid appeared over there all of a sudden through the portal, and they don't have even this mega tech to like save themselves? Like, what are you gonna do about that? So she's like, we're gonna have to. She crushes the like dimensional shifter, saves that from happening, and then she's like, we can protect both, and she steals the keystone and like puts it with the other keystone. And then you go to the hideout in the magma base where she goes, and the grunts are like, Zinnia kicked all our butts. But the leader's deep in the base. You got to go through it again, the whole base. It's kind of annoying. You reach the office. Zinnia's fighting Maxie or Archie. She's fighting Tabitha or Shelly, and they lose. But then she's like, you're the hero. You're going to save the world, but you're too late. She takes the keystone. They summon Rayquaza. She's like, now we can summon Rayquaza. You follow her. She leaves, and then you get the Mega Stone for Camerupt or Sharpedo, depending on which game it is, from Maxie and Archie, and they're like, damn, that was crazy. Here, have a Mega Stone. He calls you, and he's like, go back to Moss Deep again. And you're like, oh, fine. So you go back to Moss Deep again. Steven's there. He's like, talk to Wallace at the Cave of Origin. And you're like, why didn't you just tell me that on the phone?
Yeah, seriously.
Fly back to Pseudopolis. You learn from Wallace that the tree outside the Cave of Origin was actually a gift from AZ. And
cool.
Only Draconids can awaken Rayquaza. So you actually go look at the tree, and you can see, indeed, yes, it does have like a little bit of like...
At the base of the tree is Floette's flower.
Yeah, so that's cute.
Very cool.
But only the Draconids can awaken Rayquaza, so you gotta meet him at Route 131, which is where the Sky Pillar is. When you get there, he challenges you to a battle because he's like an ancient Pseudopolitan.
Yeah.
That's what Wallace does.
I'm just not a fan of Wallace.
I like...
This one I love.
But
other regular Wallace in the game, I'm not a huge fan.
I love Wallace.
I love Wallace.
Okay. He's like, me?
He's been staring at me this whole time, and I can't handle it.
It's great. He's in love with you. Okay, so you get there. He challenges you to battle. You beat him. You go in the Sky Pillar. Zinnia's there again. She's like, look at all these paintings. And it's like all these like things. So
this part's cool.
Yeah, so thousands of years ago, Primal Ground and Kyogre fought over the energy in endless clashes. Humanity was like, this is awful. There's just two giant monsters fighting all the time. Many meteoroids poured down from space and fell into a waterfall that was the home of the Draconids. The meteor shone with brilliance of life, as if there's life inside, and a Pokemon with an emerald hue descended from the sky. It was Rayquaza. Its power overwhelmed the primal Pokemon and returned peace to the world. So think about that again. The meteor shone with a brilliance as if life was within, in the meteor. And from that, a Pokemon with an emerald hue descended from the sky. So just keep that in mind.
Spit on my nose a little bit.
Good.
It's okay.
Yeah. Rayquaza overwhelmed the primal Pokemon, returned peace to the world. He was like the savior. 1,000 years later, meteoroids fell again, struck the planet, left a crater. That crater became Pseudopolis City. Crazy. That was the first of many disasters that befell humanity. The land cracked. The primal Pokemon awoke again. They made a wish for Rayquaza to return. The meteor resembled a vast and powerful keystone. Rayquaza appeared, and as the people wished, a change occurred to the Pokemon, and it transformed. Because all the people were like, please, Rayquaza. So he like basically mega evolved.
He's like, you love me, and I will take your life.
Right. So he made this terrible wind. It sapped their power. It caused them to vanish. He flew high in the sky. And then a tall visitor from a distant land, said, "It is the Delta, born of the great disturbances in this world. By the bonds born of mankind's wish and the power of the stones, it will calm the troubles that plague the world." That was when they constructed the Sky Pillar to hold the Rainbow Stone, which is basically the same thing as Rayquaza's Megastone.
Right.
1,000 years of peace followed that time, but learning of history's cyclical nature, the Draconids foretold that it would happen again, and the meteor to come would be greater than all of them, and obviously it is. The Draconids created a plan to reawaken Rayquaza again. You get to the roof finally. Zinnia is there with her Whismur, and they're watching the meteor shower at what they are calling the Dragon Hark Altar, which is a cool name.
Very cool. Very cool.
They're summoning Rayquaza, trying to get him to come down and, stop the meteor. Zinnia mentions that she lost Aster, which is a sister that she named Whismur after.
A sister? Are we sure?
I don't know what it is.
Because I've been like way into Zinnia lately, like researching her and stuff, and actually like I know I'm like reading over your shoulder real quick about the mystery, because like if it's not what I'm thinking, there is something that I really want to talk about with like this whole part.
We're just talking about kind of like the same thing that Game Theory episode covered.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know who exactly it was.
Basically she loses Aster. She's like, I lost Aster. I named my Whismur after her. She wants to see Aster again. Mm-hmm. After the night, she asks you to take care of her Whismur if something happens to her. She summons Rayquaza, but as she calls for the Mega Evolution, it doesn't work. Rayquaza seems to be like, he lost his power. At that point, the meteorite in your pack starts to glow. She's like, it's a Mega Stone. Rayquaza like eats it, and she's like, oh.
Why do you eat it?
She did it to, he like did it to like charge up, basically.
Yeah.
And this is where you fight Rayquaza. It's level 70. It's tight. It's a pretty hard fight. Level 70 is a hard jump from like whatever the Elite Four. It's like 12 levels higher than the Elite Four. And then when you get him, he's like, I want to stay in your party instead of going in the box. So it's one of those things.
He's just like, all right. Cool.
Zinnia teaches it Dragon Ascent, which is like the move it needs to Mega Evolve. She challenges you now because she's like, but before you take him, I got to make sure that you're like good enough.
You're ready for him.
You beat her. She's like, this is on you now. You got to go beat this meteoroid. You put on the like suit that you wore to go down into the like aqua thing or the lava thing. You climb on Rayquaza's back and you fly into frickin' space. You fly into space and he like flies through the meteorite and it's just like, I'm the best.
Great. So good.
But so here's what happens. The meteorite shatters, and inside of the meteorite is a black triangle. And it starts like moving really weird, and it opens, and Deoxys is there all of a sudden, this alien creature.
Yep.
And it challenges you. This is the hardest fight in the game by far. Defeat it or capture it, you'll get back to the Sky Pillar. I think that if you kill it, you can pick it up later somewhere else.
Yeah.
But you return to Sky Pillar. Zinnia's Whismur is there. It gives you a letter, and Zinnia's like, bye. And celebrate, like in the letter. Celebrations are going on all over the world. Wally mentions that he gets his keystone back, and he gets a ticket to a place from Norman. Team Magma reconciles and apologizes and intends to make a new beginning. I don't want to talk about what the place is until next week.
That's fine.
Steven mentions how he wants to travel the world, see the truths of people in Pokemon, but I'll stay for the time being and for my duties as the Pokemon League. But then Wallace is like, I'll take over. And
See, that's more accurate.
Yeah, that's like, you're great. Okay, and so now Wallace
is champion.
Yes. Just like an emerald.
Just like in real life, you're the champion.
Yeah, just like an emerald, though. Zinnia meets her grandmother in Meteor Falls. She says, it's time for you to rest. And that's weird.
Does she meet her grandmother? I thought she was like alone and like thinking of her grandmother. That's why I thought that Aster might be her grandmother. But then also in the Pokemon Adventure, is it Adventures? I think it's Pokemon Adventures manga. They say that Aster is the Draconid that was originally the lore keeper, but she died and then Zinnia took over. But I don't know if that's canon because it's not the game. It's a different source. So there's lots of questions still.
Right. So Professor Birch and Norman and your mom are like, you guys are so happy now. And then you get to finally, you and Brendan or you and May finally get to like have a romantic moment real quick, watch a meteorite shower, and then you go home.
That is true.
That's the Delta episode. It's really cool. Right. I really thought the Delta episode was like a good example for like how you could do a Pokemon plot that had nothing to do with gyms. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's cool. I like the idea that it's just like, show up here whenever you want, but like, do whatever else you want. Mm-hmm. I like that vibe.
I want to say something real quick about this thing. Like, I don't want to like, step on mystery, but like because I like fell so deep into this hole, like I just wanted to like quickly share. The cool thing that this Delta episode kind of like confirms for me, and like the timelines like matching up, is that like in this universe of Kalos and Hoenn, that's the word.
Sure.
What it implies is that like AZ shooting off the meteorite, like caused the recurrent meteor showers, which is really cool because it's scientifically accurate. Because like, first of all, he shoots off this huge weapon into space. What if that weapon hits a giant, like a small planet or something like that like was a planet of life and megastones? Meteorites fall down when that happens because like, of course, but then like some of them get trapped in an orbit that comes around every 1,000 years, right? And so that would explain why the Leonid meteor shower happens every 1,000 years and why megastones rain down during that time.
Also, it's called the Leonid meteor shower.
Right.
Litleo.
But then also Deoxys' Pokedex entry way back in original Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald says that it was created when a laser beam hit a giant meteorite and altered the DNA. And so it's super, super cool when you go up and Rayquaza's like supposed to stop this meteorite, and yeah, Deoxys is inside because like he's been there for thousands of years. Like that was so cool to me.
Isn't that crazy?
That like they like brought that and made that plot point like a super important thing.
I'm honestly like super excited to find out more about this other universe.
Yeah.
Like I'm really excited just to like play the Delta episode in whatever the next game is. You know what I mean? That's really exciting to me.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's definitely like I was really, really impressed with the way that they took like all of the components that are already in Pokemon games and like were able
much more interesting.
Yeah, they were able to make them more interesting without being like, well, actually this didn't happen. And they really pulled off a multiple universe storyline really well.
Good job, dudes.
Good job,
But speaking of multiple universes, let's jump into the mystery. We'll be back after this title card.
Welcome back to the mystery.
Heck yeah, this is the mystery portion. So, we have this evidence now of a portal to another dimension.
Yes. Canon.
Yeah, I did a lot of research and writing for this game theory episode about pretty much about this, that talks about how this explains not only like why Mega Evolution is in this game and not in the other game, but because there's so many different alternate universes that can exist thanks to like, theories of quantum physics, it could also explain like red version versus blue version.
Subtle differences.
But like to go even farther, it can explain like why your red version and my red version, the character has a different name and different Pokemon and all that stuff. And the link cables between games, it's like...
That is so cool that they like made that a real thing.
Interdimensional links between the games. Is so like it's actually, you're actually contacting another dimension when you link.
Which is why that like everyone can have a legendary. Like everyone can get Rayquaza because like you're all in your own separate little pocket universe.
And so
cool.
And so the implications of this are so big.
Right.
Like every single thing. Like what about like all that technology? Because we know Devin uses the technology to make tech, teleportation tech. Not too sure what their technology is based off of in the other universe games. Mm-hmm. If it's not the Mega Energy. But like, Pokemon boxes can be pocket dimensions. Maybe that's why they're called pocket monsters in the first place. Like, trading is just like throwing a Pokemon through another dimension. Like, all that stuff. And the Pokemon that evolve when they go through are like being affected by that energy. Like, it all makes sense.
It's so cool. It's very, very neat.
So that's one half of this. The other half of this is Hoopa.
Hoopa!
So Hoopa is a legendary Pokemon that creates extra dimensional portals. The question is, where are those portals going to? Are you getting the legendary Pokemon from a universe that is different? Are you where are you like, is it just a portal in space, or is it a portal in like dimensions, or is it a portal in time?
I think he can do both. I think Hoopa can make interdimensional portals, but I think that he also like uses just portals to travel from one place to another. And so I think that they could either be, I think that in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire specifically, Hoopa's portals are like portals like into other worlds where the Pokemon happens to be. Like,
right.
But I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility to be like, oh yeah, Hoopa can just travel from Sotopolis to Moss Deep without having to fly because he can just go like, whoop, there I am.
So what do you think about that? What do you think about this theory?
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, none of it is confirmed except for the fact that there's one other universe where there's no Mega Evolution.
I don't follow.
Like, Hoopa might I'm like how much of it do you think is true? Like, how much do you think Devin is like sinister? Do you think they're trying to do things like, what about the idea of Pokemon boxes being portals to dimensions?
I think that is like a pretty solid thing. I think there's definitely some sort of grasp on interdimensional technology in the Pokemon world, because like it's everywhere. Like Pokeball, yeah, like the infinity energy that like that the Devon core is oh god, he was just pressing on my stomach so hard. The infinity energy that Devon is talking about is like could explain pretty much everything. Boxes, Pokeballs.
Well, but here's the problem
everything.
is all those things exist in the other universe. So
right. Are
we implying that the Devon Corporation is like, because that's a whole other theory, and that could tie in to all the other like shady like Devon Corporation cult stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, remember when we were talking about, is Devon like a Helix fossil cult?
Right.
They literally could have peered into the Pokemon.
They could have.
They literally could have peered into the Twitch Plays Pokemon universe and like learned that religion, the Helix fossil religion.
It's true. Yeah, I think they're definitely exploring.
They could be
dimensions.
This could be the home universe with war, and it could be like Devon is just like, yo, like I'm the other Devon from another universe. Here is this magic technology.
So Devon Corp is Rick.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Steven Stone is not. Maybe it's Dad.
No.
Steven Stone's Morty.
Hey, Rick!
Hey, player!
Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
I'm the champion!
That's a much better Steven Stone voice than my good Steven Stone voice. But so think about that. Think about the implications of that. Think about the fact that like the Devon Corporation has this weird thing. Maybe that has something to do with the Seamawville. Maybe that has something to do with whatever they were working on there. Like, we know that Spiritomb is like housing 108 spirits. Mm-hmm. What if they were doing research on Spiritomb? What if they were trying to figure out where those spirits are?
Yeah.
What if there's no magic at all in Pokemon? What if it's all about dimensions and like this command of this energy that...
I think that's the truth. I think that dimensional portals are like... I think that like alternate dimensions are like the basis of the Pokemon world, and that like everything goes back to that.
Yeah.
Everything.
I think what we're talking about right now is like a very big deal. I think this is like their idea.
This was like the secret of Pokemon.
I think that we're like cracking what they're working on in terms of like furthering the plot of Pokemon. I think that's where we're at.
Hoopa explains all of the continuity errors between references to the real world and Pokemon.
Hoopa, or just like anything. Like, remember when Ash is like, I hear they have Vikings in Minnesota, like a reference to the NFL team? Mm-hmm. Like, it's possible that there could be like...
And how like Raichu can take down an Indian elephant?
Yeah.
Like, how would they know?
Maybe they were like, well, there's no Pokemon in this universe. We can test it out in this crappy universe with no Pokemon.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, so, I don't know. I want to hear what everybody has to say about this. I think this is really important. Let us know in the comments. Post this segment of this video with the proper time code on Reddit. I want to get people talking about this. I think this is important. I thought for sure that like, the game theory episode would like be a little bit more, revolutionary or something. But I don't think that. I felt like putting in like stuff about like the Devon Corporation and stuff like that was a little bit esoteric. So I don't know, maybe I didn't share enough of my theory about it, but like I think this could be it. So I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And maybe we'll definitely read them, and maybe they'll show up in the next episode. Yeah. But speaking of the comment section, the last portion of the show is about to happen. It's the Q&A section, and we're gonna jump there right now. Whoa, look at us. Wow, what happened? We went into another dimension.
We jumped right in.
Wow. Okay, so we jump right in. This is the Q&A section. You can ask questions in the comments. Today's going to be your last chance to do that, actually. Because the next episode is the last one.
Yeah.
But as is tradition, we always read the first one, and this week marks the return of old first comment champion Andrew Federici.
Yay!
Who asked, "What do you hope for the next Pokemon game?"
I hope that it's going to be announced in about a month at the next Korokoro.
I hope it's going to be announced in like 2 days, and that it's going to be in a new region, and it's going to be a lot more. I want them to focus more on Pokemon World as a whole.
Yeah, I want to know the lore. I want to know the story. I want to know what's what.
That, but also like I don't want them like I love like in the 3DS versions of the games. There's been a lot more like this came from Kellz. This came from home. I want it to feel like they all are part of the same world, because it's so inexplicable that like they would never mention. If Kalos always existed, why isn't it always mentioned? Obviously, It's because it's real life and they're writing a video game. But, like, that's the kind of stuff that I want in there. And I want new Pokemon. I want the battle system to be good. I don't want frame drops.
That's the thing. I also want a little bit better balancing of strong Pokemon so that all of the VGC stuff can be a little bit more varied, and there's not going to be the same top 8 team for every top 8 player.
I want a Skyrim-style quest system where you can stumble onto side quests when you spend time talking in towns, because there's literally no... Like, I guess every once in a while you'll get an item, but, like, usually what happens when I want an item is I'll just be like, where do I get this item? And it's like, go to this house. And it's like, okay.
What if Pokemon was like Destiny, in how you could, like, take your Pokemon that you love most of all and, like, just increase its stats to the point where it's competitive? That would be too crazy. That would like turn the game on its head. But I would love that.
You can kind of do that. But like managing their IVs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. It's kind of like about breeding though.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean
like more, you could increase the stats like more than usually possible.
Yeah.
Like a give and take.
Right.
So that you could actually go and compete with the one that you like.
But I hope that answers your question. Next question is right here.
Our next question comes from Jamel Watson, who says, "Hey guys, big fan of the show. I hope this question gets in on time." All questions get in on time as long as it's the same week that the video is put out. First, Alex, as someone who works at Target, I understand your desire not to work in retail again. My question is, what is your worst experience working in retail? And then to both of you, aside from Dark, what gyms do you want in Gen 7?
Okay.
Can we both do retail? Because I worked in retail a little bit too.
Yeah, one time I was at a store by myself. My manager was like, I have to go do a family thing. Bye. And I was like, it's Halloween Eve. Everybody's renting movie. And it was just me. And there was like a 25-minute line, and a group of 3 teenage girls, maybe even like middle school girls, came into the door, and they walked into the center of the store, and then one of them just threw up on the floor. It was bad because throw up sucks.
It stinks.
But it was cool because I got to close the store because it's a health hazard.
Oh, good.
But it was bad because I didn't get paid for the time that...
You had to close the store?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. So that's the kind of cool stuff that happened. My manager actually got, like, hit by loss prevention after I left for just, like, wasting time. She'd, like, make tents in the back and just sleep for 3 hours. She'd, like, do her nails on her lunch and be gone for, like, 2.5 hours at a time.
Dang.
Blockbuster Video, rest in peace.
So this one time I was working in retail at a store, and it was like a small business sort of thing, and I was working at the counter, and then I had to go over to the station where I was like teaching people how to make things, and I thought that I saw the owner's son outside in a fedora and sunglasses, and I was like, oh, it's him. I know who he is, you know. He had worked with me at one point, but then she told me he wasn't allowed to work there anymore because he was, he had a little bit of a troubled past. I don't want to like get into all the personal problems of like the family at work, but as I was checking out the people that I was helping, I opened the register and all of the money was gone. And I was like, oh my God, the boss's son just stole from me. And I was like, what do? I have to call my boss and tell her that her son just robbed me. So I called my manager instead and she did it. But like, I think that was probably my worst retail experience because I was just like, I can't believe I didn't see him even come towards the register. He did it so fast. I'm a failure at, you know, stuff.
Too hard on yourself.
Yeah. But my favorite experience working in retail was that one time I was helping somebody out, like getting them like checked out like in the main part of the store, and then I like walk back to the register and there's like we had these forms so that you could like go make your own candle thing. And on the form, somebody had like slapped it on the counter with the words "You're too slow" on it, but it was spelled YOURTO slow. And so I was just like, I'm keeping this. And I didn't feel bad, but like someone was so impatient that they decided to like write down like a hastily scrawled misspelled note telling me how bad of a worker I was. And I was like, I don't care.
My favorite thing that ever happened to me in retail, because I love giving movie recommendations, this woman came up to the counter and she was like, hey, I've been in a coma for 10 years. What should I watch? And I just like hung out with her for like 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah, because my job was not to work at the cash register. Like, I did
all the
it
time?
most of the time. But when there's like 2 people on staff, I'm supposed to walk around and like talk to people and try and sell them satellite TV.
Wow.
And
I've
so
been in a coma for 10 years.
She was like, I was in a coma for 10 years. What are the movies? And I was like, let's go.
Wow, that is truly a quite a unique experience.
Yeah, and to talk about gyms, I want a poison type gym again. But also I want like actual dual type gyms.
Yeah, I would love dual type gyms. Those would be great. I was just about to say
Think about all those cool like gym leaders that could be like the Steel Fire gym leader who's like a cool fire guy. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question is from Alex Warren. Question: what is your favorite internet meme? Right now, the one that immediately comes to mind is, what are those?
That's a good one.
That makes me laugh.
What makes me laugh? I like Moon, the stupid wolf. That one is always good. It always makes me laugh. I like Dodge.
Dolan was pretty funny, but it got a little gross.
Yeah. What else do I like? I love words spelled wrong.
Oh, that is also.
That's why "you're too slow" I say "you're too slow" all the time, and in my head it's always "you're too slow."
Top of the list. Yeah.
Oh, spelled words wrong. There's this one that is like a website with like pictures of fruit. And then like the labels that are all spelled wrong. It's so funny.
Plum was pum.
I love things. My favorite kind of humor is things that try really, really hard to be right, but just aren't quite right.
Great.
Like, for example, these Reject Eevee plushies, which are almost right. They're clearly Eevee. They're not Eevee.
Yeah.
They're not right. I love them. I love those.
Okay, yeah, next question. Thank you for that.
Put out all the Reject Eevees today.
Right here.
Okay, the next time. Oh, perfect! This is from Toxic King Kanto and says, dope video, quick question. Those polka doll plushies on the couch, are they all winged Pokemon by accident? Or... Last vlog, they were all winged Pokemon.
Ever since we started doing it on this couch, it's been themed.
Yeah, it's themed every single week. So,
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. This next one is from the great screen name, Denouement. Like denouement, but like Denouement.
Cute.
Do either of you two watch cartoons, and what are some of your favorites or recommendations? I love cartoons.
We love cartoons.
I love Adventure Time.
We like Rick and Morty, obviously.
I watch a buttload of Venture Brothers. I got really excited about season 6, and so I'm like going back through and watching it again, trying to catch up. Futurama is great. What else? Millions of cartoons.
I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. I watched all that. I watched a good portion of Korra, but then I like fell off. But my sister has it all, so I'm gonna borrow it from her. I am obsessed with Steven Universe.
Yep.
I think it's one of like the greatest stories of our time.
It's really cool.
It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And what other cartoons do I like? Like old cartoons. I was really into Hey Arnold as a child.
Yeah, all the Nicktoons, all the Cartoon Network, like Samurai Jack is really awesome. I watch a lot of cartoons, all kinds of cartoons.
Right.
Constantly watching cartoons.
Cartoons are vastly underrated in today's adult society.
I think that they're getting back to where they need to be.
I think so too.
Yeah. I need to watch Gravity Falls. I need to watch
that's on my list.
Star vs. Forces of Evil.
One of my favorite movies of all time is Ratatouille.
There you go.
That movie makes me like, just gets me right here.
How about that? Yeah, because she loves French cooking.
No, I love people doing things in the face of adversity and like doing it with a positive attitude.
Great. That's like a...
It's like my life mantra, and that's literally Ratatouille.
Great.
It's the best movie in the world. It's so good.
All right. That's it for this week.
Yeah.
Ask more questions like that in the comments below. Let us know what you think about our weird infinity energy, mega evolution, Pokemon, alternate reality, universe theory. And, there's one more of these. Get hype. And then we're going to replace it with something, so that's even more exciting.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween!
And we'll see you in a bit. I'm going to be Steven Universe for Halloween.
I'm being Connie.
Yay! Bye.